So one of the most persistent questions I get is, first thing is, how do I get enlightened? Second is, will I get enlightened? And third is, to get enlightened, do I need to give up non-vegetarian food? Do I need to give up sex and become a celibate? Do I have to take up sannyasa? Things like this. So let's try and answer these questions today.
You are watching Reflections on Reality.
Discover the newest books from our collection: The Heart of Everything, a spiritual memoir, and Abhinava Vijayam, a dharmic magnum opus, both written by a gifted author, Kanchi.
So the first question is, can I get enlightened? Right? So the main doubt is, will I get enlightened? See, the question itself is wrong. Will I get enlightened? Right? Or will I attain Brahman? So the question is, it's steeped in ignorance, because we consider this I to be a limited identity, to be this limited person. This I is this body, right? That is what we imagine, that I am this body, and enlightenment is something that will happen to me, something external. So when we even expect grace, they say, people say, I want God's grace or Guru's grace. I am praying for Guru's grace. Where is Guru's grace or God's grace coming from? Is it coming from the skies? This is our imagination. Whenever we say we pray to God, we look up, say, oh Bhagavanta, oh God, bless me, take care of me, and all these things. We imagine God to be something external. We imagine God to be sometimes, in some other loka. Shiva is in Kailasa, Vishnu is in Vaikuntha, right? So we imagine that the God, that our deity, our Ishtadevata, is sitting in some other land, some other loka, and from there, this is like the old movies. If you watched old, whether South Indian movies, Kannada, Tamil, you will see that Shiva Parvati are sitting in Kailasa, and there is one person praying on Bhuloka, and then Shiva sees through his vision that he sees that this person is meditating somewhere, and then he becomes pratyaksha, or he appears before the devotee and blesses him. So this is kind of imbibed in our mind also, because we think I am sitting here in Bhuloka. Shiva does not exist on Bhuloka. See, Ishvara is not on Bhuloka. This is our imagination. We imagine Shiva to only be in Vaikuntha, or sorry, Kailasa. We imagine Vishnu to be in Vaikuntha, residing, reclining on the Sheshanaga, and then our prayer should reach him. This is the story of, our imagination, and also in the Puranas, sometimes it appears to be like this. So this is how we imagine God. But we also call God, or we call Devata, or Ishtadevata, we call him Antaryami. Antaryami is that which is in, or we call him Sarvantaryami. Sarvantaryami is that supreme being who is in the heart of all beings. He is the heart of all beings, right? See, when we say Vishnu, what is Vishnu? Vishwam evam Anu. Vishwam is the universe, and Anu is that atom. So that which is in the atom and which pervades the universe is Vishnu, right? So that which is in every atom, means every cell in our body, there is Vishnu, and this being, or this intelligence, pervades the universe. This is only Vishnu. Vishwam and Anu, right? That together is Vishnu. So, of course, it is wrong to say that he does not exist in Vaikuntha. If he can exist in all beings, there is also, he can exist in Vaikuntha also. It's not that, okay, the Vaikuntha does not exist, the Puranas are wrong, or things like that. All that is, let's not go into these kind of debates. We need to understand that Vishnu is in every cell in the universe of all beings. And even in Shastra has written, he is the heart of all beings. He is in the heart of all beings. He is the heart of all beings. So when such is the case, how can grace come from outside? See, grace cannot come from outside. Grace is a uprising that happens from within you. Similarly, when we speak about enlightenment, enlightenment is not an event in a person's life that happens to at, let's say I was 35, 36 and this event happened to me. At 29 I had sudden sakshatkara. These are all things that can misguide a seeker, because seeker imagines that there is some explosion in the mind, that suddenly all the energy is aligned in the body, and he attains self-realization. When we say self-realization or when we say self-actualization, what is this? Self-realization is knowledge of the self, right? Knowing who you are, right? See, we are always the Brahman. At no given time am I this person, am I Kanchi. At no given time, I might appear to be Kanchi in this flesh and blood, and I might respond to Kanchi because of the wrong identification with the body, right? So, suppose you are a rickshaw driver, you ride a rickshaw, and you're going in the rickshaw, person says, hey, rickshaw, stop, and then you stop the rickshaw. That does not mean you are the rickshaw. You are driving the rickshaw, right? So you are the rickshaw wala or you are the rickshaw driver. Similarly, rickshaw is a vehicle for the person, for the driver, right? It is a vehicle. Similarly, the body is an instrument. Body is a vehicle for us. This is the instrument through which we experience the universe, through which we experience the world. Now, how can the instrument become I? It is only misidentification. We misidentify the instrument as I. Suppose a doctor goes around putting stethoscope and it's always in his hand. It almost appears like an extension of his hand, but it is never his hand, or it is never part of his thing. When he puts the stethoscope on someone's chest, he can hear the heart beating in his ear, right? So it is all connected. Does that mean that is part of his body? Is stethoscope the doctor? The stethoscope is the instrument the doctor uses. Similarly, the ear, where we hear the heartbeat, is also where we hear all the sounds of the universe. This is also an instrument. I am not the ear. I can be eating food with my hand, but this hand will do everything I say. If I say raise the hand, it will raise the hand. If I say keep the hand down, it will keep, it will move. However I want, I can close the fingers, I can open them up. It listens to all the commands I say. But that does not mean that I am this hand. If this hand is not there, I still exist. Similarly, all the body parts in the body, if you take away all of them, I still exist. So this is why we talk about reincarnation and rebirth and all these things. People think that some problem has come and I give up this body. Let's say I'll jump from a building, or I'll do, strangle myself, fall on the railway track. It is not the end of existence. It is only end of this body. The end of this body does not mean the end of pain or end of suffering. Suffering is not embedded in the body. Body is an instrument. Suffering is embedded in the consciousness of man, in the mind of man. So to end suffering, you cannot end the body. By ending the body, you cannot end suffering. Suffering will continue multifold in the next life, because it is not the body that reincarnates. See, body is Panchabhuta, it's the 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and Akasha, it is ether. So the 5 elements, these are Panchabhutas, these are called Panchabhutas. We'll talk about Panchabhutas in depth in another video. But basically the body is made of these Panchabhutas, and it will again become one with the Panchabhutas, the elements of the universe. The body does not reincarnate that way, because the body is considered to be inert. The body is inert. What reincarnates? The consciousness of man, the limited consciousness of man, which identifies as this person, takes up another thing. So suffering is embedded in the consciousness. So liberation is never for the body. The body does not seek liberation. The body does not seek enlightenment. So you cannot achieve enlightenment for the body. How will you achieve enlightenment for the body? You cannot. You can only attain enlightenment for consciousness. And what is enlightenment? Again, not some light appearing and then you feel sudden sense of oneness and all those things. It is getting rid of the identity that I am limited self, that I am this body. right? As soon as we get rid of this concept of this ignorance, see, in a room, to bring light, to get rid of darkness, what do you need to do? See, you cannot, push the darkness away. No matter what you do, darkness remains. All you have to do is get a small light, like a jyoti, like a deepa, right? A lamp, and you light the lamp in the room. As soon as you light the lamp in the room, the darkness disappears. The darkness never existed. Darkness is only absence of light. So ignorance is absence of self-realization or absence of self-knowledge. Self-realization is gnana. Gnana is self-knowledge. Nothing needs to be done. So if I say I want to get enlightened, there only you are failing, because we are already considering I am as separate from enlightenment. Enlightenment is nothing but self-knowledge. Self-knowledge is nothing but abidance in the self, remaining as you are, as I am. See, in my purity, if I do not attempt to become anything at this moment, if I am not going to do anything and try to become something, see, I am this, I am that, I want this, I want that, continuously the mind complicates life, complicates the simplicity of existence. Constantly we are grabbing onto things, right? So first there is Icha Shakti, which is desire, and then there is Kriya Shakti, which wants to go and attain this. So this Icha Shakti and Kriya Shakti is always externalizing the mind. The mind, when it externalizes and jumps out, you have lost. You are away from home. So we have to reverse that. We have to reverse the Icha should become Icha for realization. You can say that, and Kriya should come back to the source. That is only self-enquiry. When we say, I want this, ask yourself, who wants what? Who wants this? Then the mind will say, no, I want, I want. What is this I? Seek this I out. Where is this I coming from? Where is this I arising from? Seek within your body and abide as that I. See, the I is the key. It's the key to get lost also. It's like a key to the door. You can open the door and go outside and get lost in the wilderness. And that is the same key to come back to the, open the door and come back home. So this key is I, right? I am this, I am that. You have failed. You have externalized the mind, and now you will suffer. Give up this and that. I am not saying give up I am. Give up this and that. I am is what? I am that I am. Right? This is what the Shastra says. I am that which that I am. Alright? What does that mean? Means you don't have to become anything else. When you don't become anything else, you are what you are. Be as you are. So self-realization. Can you become self-realized? Can I get enlightened in this lifetime? How many lifetimes will I take? All these are starting with a wrong notion. You don't have a disease. For example, you go to a doctor and say, doctor, I have, when will I get rid of my disease? If you don't have a disease and you're imagining a disease and you are telling the doctor, whatever medication the doctor gives, you cannot get rid of the disease, because the disease does not exist in the first place. Like school children, they will write in the, when they want to bunk classes, they will write, no, I was sick yesterday and all that. So you go to school and then the teacher gives you some medicine. Will it get rid of the disease? Because the disease did not exist. So the disease of ignorance does not exist. It is an illusion. We are only imagining. See, we are only imagining separation from the world, separation from the universe. We are only imagining these kind of things, that I am existing, I am feeling this, I am feeling that, and all these things, because of wrong identity. So there might be debate. How can you say I am imagining, I am struggling, I am suffering? Right? For you are suffering. In a dream, a person in a dream, he is being chased by a ghost. He is jumping around in a dream, he is running. He is very much suffering in the dream. So if I tell you some person I see is sleeping next to me and screaming in sleep, of course that person is suffering, is struggling in the dream. But if I wake him up and he wakes up, suddenly that dream ghost does not exist. Right? The dream monster, where is the dream monster? Disappeared with the dream. Similarly, I'm not denying that we are going through some tough times in our lives. We are dealing with some demons of our own in daily life. Not denying that. But ask yourself, who is going through that? Similarly, just the way you wake up from the dream, Waking up from this ignorance is only Atma Sakshatkara, is witnessing the self. So the key is I am. Meditate on this I am. Meditate on this self. And what is there? How long, it's what is longevity got to do with it? How long will I take? What is there? So let me tell you a small story. There were two sages, and these two sages were always together. And they were meditating together. So they said that we will meditate together and let's attain self-realization. We will not separate because we need support. We'll support each other in this endeavor. And they went through Ghora tapas, very austere tapas, and they were doing tapas in Himalayas, in the frozen weather and all those things, in the snow and all that. And one day, Narada came. Narada was passing by that, by their hermitage where they were meditating under a tree, under two trees they were meditating. So the first sage, he saw the first sage, and Narada says, that sage immediately opens his eyes, he sees Narada, falls at his feet, and says, Narada, please tell me, I've been meditating, I've been doing tapas for 100 years already, and I've become old, my body is withered, I'm going to die. Tell me, will I attain self-realization? Will I attain enlightenment in this life? Will I attain moksha in this life? Narada looks at him and he sees a big banyan tree, he's sitting under a banyan tree. So Narada looks at the banyan tree and he says, as many branches as this banyan tree has, that many lifetimes you will take to realize the self, to attain the self. So that sage starts crying immediately because banyan tree, how many branches it has. Every time the branches go, they fall, there's another branch from that. There are hundreds and hundreds of branches. So he looks at the banyan tree and he starts crying. Immediately loses hope in self-realization. He says, what is this? So many branches, so many lifetimes. When will I ever attain enlightenment? And he has already spent 100 years. He starts crying. So when he is crying, then Narada goes to the other person. This other person is also same age. He has a long beard and long hair and all that. And Narada asks him, this person asks Narada, this sage asks Narada, Narada, Devrishi, when will I get enlightened? So Narada looks at him and he says, number of each strand on your body, each strand of hair on your body is one lifetime. And by the time you extinguish all these lifetimes, you will realize the self. You will attain self-realization. So one strand of hair, beard, whatever, on his head, on his arm, one strand of hair is one lifetime. So that is how long Narada predicts for this sage. They both are doing tapas together. One person, he says branches, other person, he says one strand of hair is one lifetime. Right? And then that sage jumps up in excitement. He starts jumping and he starts screaming and dancing. And Narada is amused, he is laughing. And his friend is totally, shocked. He thinks this person has gone mad and he is screaming like it's like a mad person. So Narada is also surprised. This person is completely shocked that this guy has lost his mind because number of strands on the hair, on the body is, I don't know how many thousands of lifetimes. So then that sage asks his friend who is dancing, why are you excited? He has given you a bad news, not a good news, that you will take so many lifetimes to attain self-realization. Then that sage says, fool, you don't understand what's the meaning of this, what is the value of what Narada has told. Narada has told these many strands, after that I will get enlightened, after that many lifetimes. So he has guaranteed enlightenment for me. So you see, he says the enlightenment is guaranteed. So he says my tapas will not go, cannot go wrong now. Narada has guaranteed that I will definitely get enlightened. So this is the bhava we should have when we are doing dhyana. See, when we attain Guru's feet, when we say, okay, we have got a path, we have got a, let's say, a mantra, we are chanting, we should have that unbroken faith in Bhagavan, that in God or in our Guru, whatever, that we will attain, come what may. Because finally we throw a ball in the air, it can stay up. How long can it stay up? Finally it has to fall on the ground. Similarly, we have to reach home. Finally we will reach home. See, however far your mind goes, one day it has to come back to the self. You keep asking, who am I? Try to meditate on the self, focus on this Atma. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? You will find the answer. Let it be however long. Why should we bother about this? This path is a path of joy. It is not joy at the end of the path. Tomorrow I will get joy at the end of realization. I will get no. See, people who are doing dhyana on Shiva, what more entertainment, what more joy, what more pleasure you want in life? The rasa, the juice there is the juice of bhakti, the rasa of bhakti. Just meditating on the Lord, oh Shiva, Shiva, Shiva. Give up. You know what I mean? So they say it's a very, I heard a quote, it is kind of like, it's funny. It says when you run alone, it's called race. It's a little cringy, but let me say it anyway. They say when you run alone, it's called race, like running race. But when God runs with you, it's called grace. So when will God run with you? When you surrender to Him. Just know that I am not alone. He will take care. He is Antaryami. He is in all beings. He is in the heart of your own heart. He is there. Not only your own heart. The Atma itself is Bhagavan. See what we say, I, aham. Aham only Shiva. Shivoham. Right? There is no separate existence. You don't have a separate existence other than Shiva. So why we should suffer and say I am individual, I have to achieve this, tomorrow I will do this, day after tomorrow I will do more intense tapas. All these things, don't stress out. Find out who you are, meditate on the self. The Shastras are available to you in our day and age. Shastras are available, Gurus are available. All the blessings of the world are available to a sincere seeker. We have to be sincere in our pursuit. We should be dedicated, we should have devotion, we should be disciplined. At no point we should give up. Have patience. Forbearance. Be patient like that sage who was he was not counting the strands of hair. He was happy. So have that forbearance, have that patience, and have that faith that it will come. Alright? So when will I get enlightened? How will I get enlightened? All these questions set aside. Know that you are the self. Meditate on that you are the self.
If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe. And thanks for watching. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below.